Hey everyone, this is Jess with TRACT. Today we have a new feature called Sites that we're going to demo in this video. And the main idea is that sometimes you don't deliver a load directly from the woods to the mill. Sometimes you may have a yard or a temporary drop site or even a more formal wood yard where you receive wood. And we want to give you the ability in TRACT to keep track of that and give you inventory management and the ability to set that up on your job tickets. So we're going to jump right in and do an example. So first off, how do you create a site? You can do that two ways. You can do it directly from your job. So once you have a job set up, you can scroll down and you'll see a new section called Sites. And here you just create a site, and it's very simple. You just name it, give it a description. If you do it from the job, it's going to pre-select the job for you. And if you want to keep track of the geolocation, then you can put in a latitude and longitude. So you can see I've already created one here. And you also notice that we have a little bit of stats here, and we'll come back to that. The other way you can create one is there's a new tab over here called Sites, and you can click on that to get a list of your sites, and then you can either create a new one or you can jump into one that's already existing. So we're going to go back to this job, and the next part of the sites is to set up the products. And before we do that, I want to take a look at sort of the default way that we've always tracked products in TRACT, and that is we've always assumed a default origin for your loads in TRACT, and we always assume that the loads are coming from the woods. That means that you harvest the trees, you load them up in a truck, and then you haul them to the mill. And so the destination you are familiar with choosing, that is going to be a mill somewhere in the system, and it's just this two-step process. So with sites, we introduce a new concept, and that's you can select an origin and you can select a destination that's not the mill. So in this example, the origin is going to still be the woods. That's where the trees are harvested. And then instead of taking those directly to a mill, you can now deliver those to a different site. And then that site that you choose, we're going to track the inventory for you there. And then when you get ready, you eventually want to deliver. Now your site is the origin, and you want to deliver that to the mill. So it's instead of a 1-2, it's a 1-2-3-4, I guess. So if we go and look at our products, you can see that reflected in how we set up a product. So I'm going to go to add a product, and you'll notice a change now in our products. We've split up. We used to have the product and the mill all up here in one section. So we split this up a little bit. Now your product details are just your product and your harvest estimations and your unit of measure. And then we have the origin and destination section here. And you can see whenever you create a new product, we're going to go ahead and assume the default of that it's harvested in the woods. And then also we're going to assume that you're delivering to a mill. So we tried to keep that as seamless as possible for existing workflows. But if you want to change that, we can say, for example, we were going to use a job site for this one. We can change this to site, like so. And now we're going to get a list of sites. And if your site's not already on here, then you can add a new one, just like we did before. Or you choose one that you've already added. You probably want to set it up before you get into your products, but just in case you forget, it's there. So in this example, we're going to be delivering from the woods to this destination site called Test. You'll probably want to come up with a more descriptive name. Everything else pretty much remains the same. Now, it's not likely you're going to pay the same payouts for a load that gets delivered to a site. You're probably going to delay that payment, like to your landowner, for example, but maybe you're just paying your logger, and you might not get any income for that because you're not getting paid yet since you haven't delivered it to the mill. So you would probably just remove the payment section. So I've already set up a couple like this, and we can see the breakdown, and you can see there's a new column here called origin, and then destination, of course, has always been here, but now your destination can be a site. So in this example, we'll see we have two products that are going from the woods to the destination. And if we take a peek at those, notice we're just paying a logging expense on that. So we're going to incur an expense of $5 per ton. And then eventually we want to take and deliver from the site to the mill. And so in this example, we have, and let's do the 4CNS one since it is relatable to this one. So eventually we're going to take the wood from the site to the mill, and then we're going to have our normal payout breakdown where we're getting paid by a mill. We're going to go ahead and pay our landowner, and of course we would probably have a trucking expense here as well. And then we may have an additional logging expense for loading that wood up on the truck. Now your ticket entry is going to be actually this exactly the same, except for, of course, you have the additional options. So if we go to create load, we'll now see, is this product go into graphic packaging or is this product go into our test site? So that's how you choose. And then I have some sample tickets that we've entered. If we go back to our loads, we can see there's quite a few tickets. And we'll go ahead and just go right back to our job overview, and then we'll scroll down. And now we can see in this inventory site, we have a net of 27 loads still in inventory and an estimated net tons of 686. Now you may want to come up with an estimation for your drop site. You're probably not going to have scales at your drop site, so you would come up with a estimated tonnage amount, and that's how you're going to keep track of what you're putting into inventory. And then when the loads come out of inventory, of course, those will probably be scaled at the mill, and you'll get a more accurate count. When the job is complete, you can do an adjustment entry to even those out. But if we go into this, it'll now give us a breakdown for this site. We have a balance of, these are total loads in, total tons in, and then this is our total profit in. So if you're just paying an expense, you're probably going to have negative profit, which is actually just an expense. And then this is our total loads out so far. We've delivered 135 loads to the mill. We've taken out this many tons. And this is the profit we've made on the outgoing tickets from the site to the mill. Now this is our net. So we've put 162 in, 135 out. So now we have our net. And then we take our profit out and deduct it from our profit in, and we get our total profit. And then we can also break it down and see how many loads of what we have in inventory. And it breaks it down the same way. Loads in, loads out, net number of loads, tons in, tons out, net tons, and then profit in, profit out, net profit. Everything else should flow exactly the same through the system. So your statements and reconciliations, everything like that is going to work the same. Here's an example of a logging statement. You can see that this is the inventory test job. We delivered to these two locations and to these two mills, and then the test location, 2 different products. So we're going to break that down. Again, this will probably be more descriptive on your sites. But then we break it down here. This will conclude our video. As always, on these new features, we're looking for feedback in ways that we can make it better. So we look forward to hearing from you.